Welcome back aboard the good ship FMK.
Where's our background, Ben? Where'd it go?
I burned it.
No, it was so expensive.
Burned it to the
I
ground.
was tired of everybody commenting. It looks like Kieran's giving Scott a hug.
Yep. What's that thing beside Ben? It's a dick, okay? You thought it was an eggplant, but it was a dick.
Accurate.
Yep. Welcome back to the program where we watch shows that are bad.
Are they all bad?
Yep, they're all bad. Everything's
Oh.
bad. It's
Oh,
the bad
no.
season.
Oh, no.
I'm leaning into this grumpy Ben thing, okay? People thought, like, oh, Ben seems grumpy. Should we... What's the deal? You thought that was going to make me cheer the fuck up? Nah, son. Let's get into this. Let's get dirty.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Ben is incredibly combative. If you challenge him, he will either go in a wildly different direction or he will double the fuck down. And this
Yeah.
is double down, Ben.
If you strike me down, I will become more powerful. I'm going to get that blue shit.
Yeah. It'd be real fun.
Guys, let's talk about Chio's School Road.
Alright.
Let's talk about episode 3.
Okay.
In part 1, bloody butterfly, bloody butterfly, bloody butterfly. In part 2, comedy, 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 comedy.
That's exactly what my pregame buddy said
Yep.
when we started talking about this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I just talk about how much I love the name Bloody Butterfly and the effect that it has had in this show? I love the fact that it is that it is an incredibly dumb name that all these Yankee are just taking 100% seriously.
I felt exactly the same way until this episode, which drove it into the ground. Maybe next time it'll go the rest of the way, push it through, and it'll be funny again in China. But right now, nope, it's too much.
I feel like it was putting like it to bed.
I hope so.
That'd be good.
Look, I like Discount Nita. I really do.
Nata?
Yeah. Yes. There we go. So now, what actually happens here is let me look at my notes. So Chio has to explain the whole stupid misunderstanding to
Yeah.
Discount Nita. He rolls right into it. I appreciated that. He's
Yeah,
like,
I was afraid that
Yeah.
he like convinced himself and was like, no, you're just testing me, or you just don't like you're covering up. No, he's like, that's amazing. That's oh my god, you actually did that. I feel like an idiot.
Yep.
Wow.
and goes the whole 9 yards with it. Like, well, I'm in too deep now. I just gotta play this out.
Yeah. We'll make sure nobody talks to this again.
There was a part of me that was wondering, was like, wait a second, but then what's he gonna do? Is like, wait, he's in a no-win situation there, because if he like beats her up and then goes out there and explains what happens, he's still gonna look like the idiot. I mean,
Yeah.
she might get punished, but he's still on the losing end of that. So he realizes that literally the only thing he can do after this humiliation is just, nope, I'm giving up. I've given up this lifestyle, and I'm gonna make them give it up too.
Gonna go straight. Gonna go legit.
Yep.
So that's part 1. In part 2, how do you like boobs and I don't
A
even
lot.
know. Is this an actual game? Is
Yes.
this something that
Cob-
exists?
comedy is a real
Comedy?
thing.
Okay.
Yes, it's a real sport.
Yeah. So Chio and Manana are doing dumb kung fu, like pretend play kung fu fighting on the
Yeah.
way to school, which that I really liked. That's like, again, one of those totally relatable, like, yeah, I did that with my dumb friends on the way to school back in the day.
You know what also was really relatable? Like when she's like, yes, now if I touch them with my hands, I'll make bombs on them. And I'm like, this is exactly me as a teenager. God damn it. It's hitting me where it hurts. I won't lie
Yeah.
to you. Because I'm like, yep, that's exactly the kind of dumb shit that I would have pulled as a kid.
Yep.
You know what dumb shit I wouldn't have pulled as a kid? The rest of this.
Yeah. See,
It gets pretty gross. It gets pretty creepy.
it is like up until a point it was fine. But then it was like, nope. Just gonna grab that girl's butt and hold on for dear life.
I feel like I thought this one would have bothered me more, but it really didn't. I guess because it was part of the scene now. It wasn't making something that wasn't sexy. Like her climbing a thing. This was inherently like, that's the plan. I knew you were into girls and this is my plan.
Which
So I guess that's why it didn't bother me.
Which I like the idea of her, like, up until the point where she won't let go.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, okay, that's fan servicey, that's a little bit much, but then she wouldn't let go, and I'm like, oh God, don't play that for comedy. That's not something. I can laugh at. I just can't laugh at that.
Yeah.
But everything besides that was like
I
funny.
mean, that's the thing. I can't say I'm like, oh, I am deeply and morally offended by this. I just didn't find it amusing or entertaining at all. That's all.
Yeah.
But we did also watch episode 4. In part 1, Chio's School Road does not advocate the totally cool practice of smoking. And in part 2, newspaper delivery assassin style, with the return of Discount Nita, as he's gone straight. He's delivering newspapers now.
Also, part 3.
What happened in part 3?
Part three is
yeah,
where they're talking about like, hey, remember that time that popular girl ended up talking to you and you dove into the goddamn trash? I have a better solution.
Yeah,
give her
the
the face that could be determined, that could be seen as, oh, like, is she saying hello or is she just looking off in the distance? And that face is good face. The rest of the joke is not that funny except for Chio running away. That was pretty good. So first segment was I love the whole segment. The entirety of this segment is really funny because it just reminds me again. This show does such a good job at showing you kids being kids, but then like stylizing it just enough to like really kind of hammer home the comedy. Yeah, with them just taking the pictures with them with the cigarette.
I loved that. That was so fun.
Well, it's also really weird because so Japan. Way worse about pictures of you doing dumb shit. You can get fired from any job for doing even the slightest dumb shit in public.
That's why they usually have like their faces censored on like everything.
Yeah. So it's really like, so when they start taking these pictures and Manon is like, yeah, I'm getting all pictures of you. I'm not going to get pictures of me doing this though. That's crazy. And then she gets roped into it. And then she's like, okay, well, those can never be seen. And the best part is when it leads up to them getting to school, the older teacher zeroes in on Chio. She hands it over to him, and he's like, oh, good. Thank you for bringing this in. I'll make sure that this is disposed of. Well, don't you think I might have smoked it? Oh.
This has got lipstick, and this shit is way too hard for your dumbass.
Yeah.
So, once again, this show, a real mixed bag. It can be so good. Even when it's bad, it's not like actively painful to watch bad. It's just not quite as consistent as I'd like it, but I'm still enjoying my time with it. I'll hold up that eggplant.
I like the scene where she has to get up onto the balcony. So Manana, it clicks to her like good best friends. Like, don't worry, I got this. Manana, Chio, let's go. And she just jumps the fuck up there. I'm like, I love it. I don't know why. This show, I have to agree with you though. Like, the stuff that I like about this, I'm like, that's fun. This is enjoyable, especially more in retrospect. But as I'm watching it, I am kind of getting this feeling of like, I don't know. It's good. I want to continue watching it. I don't know if it's going to get if it's going to get old for me, if I'm going to get bored with it. But these 2 episodes, solid. Funny stuff.
I'm not thinking too hard about it. It's fun. It's good. I think its highs are... I think I still stand by what I said, that its highs are really good, and if I can see why like the fan service stuff would be a problem, because it did bother me a bit in the first episode, but like episode 3 wasn't as bad, at least for me, and episode 4 was just a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. That's trifecta for Chio's School Road, by the way. Let's see if we had fun with Angolmois, and if we didn't, hey, at least we only had 1 episode to watch this time.
That's right.
At least.
In episode 3, Ronin Yamcha plans a night raid on the Mongols. The late lord's adopted son refuses to take command, but Princess Hime will. Some of the exiles turn traitor, and one of them stabs Princess Hime, and we're going to run into this a lot with my... I was nodding. For kind of a lot of these shows, I watched a bunch of anime yesterday.
Yeah.
I went off, had some lunch, took a break, like tried to wake myself up because I could feel myself nodding. Came home, watched some more anime. I was still nodding. I took like a 2-hour nap. I got up, I watched more anime. I was still nodding off.
I have my tea right here to get me through talking about Angolmois specifically. This show is boring, bro.
It's just boring as shit.
It's so okay. So, you know what makes a show like visually like it makes it interesting for the eyes and the ears?
No, I don't. Tell me.
Distinctive visual style and good sound design. This visual style is muddy at best, and the sound design is the literal worst. I cannot get over how bad the show sounds and its soundtrack is like non-existent. I couldn't tell you anything from
They're
it.
trying to do like the more realistic sword sounds when they do them, and they're
And
just like they have no impact.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. It
Yeah.
doesn't match the visuals at all.
No, with how kinetic you're making everything look, and we just hear a whoosh,
ting,
ting,
ting.
ting.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Give me that nice crunch.
Also, I like this story. Like this story. Okay, war stories like this, especially from feudal Japan, can be really cool and interesting. And I like Kuchi as a character. I like the princess. Princess is the best character.
she's cool.
Yeah, I like her and I like Kuchi, but everyone else surrounding them is nothing to me. And they're not doing anything to make them interesting or stand out.
They're spinning like 5 plates very slowly,
Yes.
just enough so that they still keep standing. But if you blink, you might miss part of the magic trick. I probably missed something.
You missed nothing.
Okay, good.
I watched this intently. I studied all of the dialogue.
How could you do that?
Because I want this show to be good, because I like its premise. This is not a show that I go into like wanting to dislike it. No, I'm actively trying to like this show, and I am not, because it is not. I like all the character designs for the most part. Again,
They're good.
yeah, and I like this premise. And when the art wants to look really good, it does. But the animation took another dive in this episode. God help me. It's just it is visually and auditorily unappealing, and they're just not making this really cool plot seem as cool as it actually is. We're gonna go night raid the Mongols. Oh, that's bitchin'. I'd love to see that in a better show. So,
It's boring. It's bad. It's dumb. I wish it would be better.
yeah.
Yeah, there is worse stuff on this list, but not so much worse that I'm not going to hold up that knife as well. Because honestly, at this point, I could try and like pick and choose. Like I could try and do that meta game. What do I want to die the most? Or I could just hold up some knives where knives are warranted.
Hey, do me a favor. What's the next show?
That'd be Angels of Death.
Oh, cool. Then I'm just
Oh,
gonna.
yeah, can we-
you know
can
what?
we just
Yeah,
keep that up?
Then I don't have to put it
Yeah,
down.
can we
Okay,
That's
well
awesome.
then,
Let's do
yeah,
this.
let's just
can
try
we
kill
just do
for Angolmois, by the way,
Okay.
and that's another try kill for Angels of Death.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
cool.
So
I guess we should at least, talk about it since it's its final day.
in episode
Maybe.
3, Coconut Head Boy wants to kill Amnesia Girl, but Hot Topic Mummy also wants to kill Amnesia Girl. They have a fight over who gets to kill Amnesia Girl. Hot Topic Mummy wins.
I was gonna go with Scyther no Scything, but
No, that scans. In episode 4, Hot Topic Mummy and Amnesia Girl must pass through a prison-themed floor where they have to solve riddles to progress.
So this game is probably fine. That's the
Probably.
thing. The
Yeah.
game, the video game called Angels of Death is probably fine. It's probably okay.
it's an RPG maker.
Yeah, and
game.
the RPG Maker game available on Steam and other platforms
Yep.
is probably fine.
Tune in for a casual Friday in the near future, probably.
And like it looks fine. I'm sure I'd like it. But here, I just know. I feel like I am playing the game, but I'm watching somebody who doesn't know how to play it, and they're just refusing to provide anything interesting. It's like watching a Let's Player who isn't saying anything funny and is just playing it poorly.
Oh, so it's like watching me do Zelda Randomizer.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, good.
Actually, someone on Twitter messaged me telling me that they cut something very important out, and I don't know
Oh,
what.
really?
I
Okay.
don't have no idea what. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you what. I've only heard that they cut something important out, but I'm not.
Well, they must have because they didn't leave anything important in.
Yeah. Can I just talk about the dumbest scene in this whole season so far? There's one scene in here which broke me, which made me decide, nope, this is 100% a knife. No one can tell me otherwise.
What?
The lights go out. And so what does Zach say? Oh shit! We need some lights. Go find some lights. But I can't see around. I know. Just go find lights. Go turn on the lights. Okay. Turns on her goddamn flashlight and runs away.
But it's dark. It's dark though.
And it gets worse
It does though.
because Eddie yells out, "Wait! Don't go!" And then Zach turns around and swipes at him. And what does Eddie say? Wait, can he see me? Oh no, he must be able to sense me. You just yelled out, you dumb motherfucker. Who wrote this? Who storyboarded this? Who looked at this and said, nope, this series of events works. This is room level what?
Now, everything that you just said is perfectly valid, but in order to nitpick at that level, you have to be paying closer attention than I was.
Yeah, I'm sure that happened.
Yeah,
but
I didn't expect more out of this, so when that
Yeah.
happened, it just kind of washed over me. Like, okay, I guess that's.
I am trying my best to give these shows the fairest shake I can because, frankly, when we went into this, we were a little bit negative because the shows this season don't have a whole lot of appeal for all of us. Like, I'm really sure that we're gonna have a conversation later on in this about one other show, but I want to like this stuff because I don't like disliking things for the sake of disliking them, and I don't want these to be bitch fests.
Oh, I'm not disliking anything for the sake of disliking them.
Yeah, but this is so
boring.
it's boring and it's bad. It's actually like
Okay, I haven't said anything positive. I do have one positive.
Okay.
Kathy, the prison bitch.
Yep.
Her music really good.
oh yeah, actually you
I
know what?
I liked her music a lot.
I didn't think I thought about that in the moment. I liked her music. You know what? Good.
That was the
good
most
point.
character anybody had at that point. I was like, that's fun. That's like something cool. I can dig on that.
Yeah.
But no, everything else terrible.
Thank you for providing.
I tried.
You know what I can dig on? The fact that we're going to spin a wheel today.
Oh
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's right.
But before that happens, let's talk about Happy Sugar Life.
Yes.
Let's talk about episode 3,
Please, let's talk about it.
in which Pink Girl decides not to kill Bro at the last minute. She gets interrupted or something. I don't know. Small Girl goes outside. Pedo Bear finds Small Girl and creams his jeans. Some assholes show up and punch Pedo Bear a lot. Can I stop yet? Can I stop yet? Please, can I stop yet? This is actively unpleasant.
Oh my god.
Every moment that this show is on screen hurts me.
How do you have such little fun with this? I'm never not. Did you watch me watching it yesterday? Did you stick around?
no.
I
Okay.
watched a little bit of it.
I just can't. I'm always like, oh my god! Like every time I'm just going nuts. That's just, I don't know. This is so entertaining. It's so fun.
So I don't watch things for the sake of them being so bad that they're good. Even with like, oh God, what was it? Killing Bites. There was still a lot there that was like it knew what it was, but it was also selling it so well that I'm like, okay, I like this garbage because it still has that twinge of ironic quality to it that I'm like, yes, awesome. And with Comic Girls, I actually found some stuff there that I was like, that's funny. You
Yeah,
know?
me too.
For a couple episodes, I was like, okay, cool. And then, I'm out. This is one of those weird ones because what it's doing here is it's trying to creep up to the line of what is too goddamn much.
Yeah.
What is too violent, too like over the top gross. And they're like
That line that it left behind 3 episodes ago? What
No.
are you talking about?
No.
oh no. Oh man. So maybe it's just the fact that like he and I have seen some shit. Like me and I have been the shit. But there's just some stuff here. Like it's like what will they do? Where will they go? What is this next episode going to entail? And this one is actually like not as bad as the last
No,
one.
this is the most tame out of all of them. But I think this actually sets up, because I mentioned this when I was watching it, and I feel like there is some validity to this viewing, that this is critiquing something that I've personally had a lot of trouble with. The guy who was this dude who was then raped is now like obsessed with this like younger girl, right? He's obsessed with this little child, and he views this as he has to protect her, and she's so pure. Every time she touches me, she purifies my dirty body. Like that right there, that I think is just something about this lolicon culture of people who are like, oh, I want to protect this marketable little blob. I don't want to stick my dick in her. I'd never do that, at least not in a public forum, but I will have her as my Twitter avatar and look at pictures of her every day and have her as my background, but I'd never dream of anything gross or dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Karen, I love you so much
And
right now.
like that was the most resonant thing to me. It was like, oh yeah, this is how those people I always thought that. And he's like, oh no, she's a pure angel coming to free me from my sinful body. What happens if I touch it? Like,
Yep.
That's so creepy. And I'm like, yeah, that's real. That happens.
So yeah, I have been very outspoken about not necessarily lolicon material, because people who are into that and just like keep it to themselves, stay in your own fucking
Whatever.
corner with it. Like, I don't care as long as you're not a child molester.
Yes.
I don't give a shit as long as it's fake. But when people talk about it, when people put it out in public, when people try and be like, lolly's good, I'm like, fuck you, get out. Take that out of here, you're done. So there is like this whole thing is this exercise of like, okay, where is this gonna fall?
Yeah, and
where, like, on what side is this shoe gonna fall? Is this gonna be like pro lolicon, or is it going to be these people are gross, terrible, awful people? How just gross can we push it?
Yeah, and I feel it's airing more on the latter. I feel like this show has a very staunch, everyone is bad. Like, literally everyone is awful.
With maybe the exception of Chio and Chio's brother.
Maybe. Maybe. We got an inkling that Chio might also be crazy.
Chio might be crazy,
Which
yeah.
is awesome.
But then you have her brother. By the way,
Yeah, the brother might be okay. The brother might just be totally normal.
can we talk about the moment like with the dad?
With the dad and the static shit, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
I'm sorry. Like, as gross and weird as the show is, one of the only reasons it even works at all is because the team working on it is like making every shot.
Because they love it. You can tell they're having fun.
Yeah, like it's kind of incredible just how well like the designs are, the compositing is.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
Like shit, this show looks good, and that's why this is so fascinating to me.
Same.
I'm watching this. I'm watching this like stuff that makes me feel so gross, but they're trying so hard. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of indie horror. Like, I mean, if you have Verve, by the way, there's this website called Shudder, and it's just a bunch of indie horror shit, really grotesque shit.
You know what?
And I love it.
This is a horror show in a way.
Yeah, no, it is.
Because you just see these, you see the like again this creeping insidiousness.
Yeah.
Like you see this girl who's totally insane, and she's only keeping it together because she wants to go back home to
Yeah.
her perfect life.
Yeah,
her
this
perfect,
idyllic
happy
thing.
sugar
Yeah,
life.
exactly. Yeah.
And
I'm
damn
glad
it.
at least you see what I'm seeing here, that there's just something intriguing about it. I understand if it's very off-putting. I understand if you don't even want to engage with it because of what it is. It's abrasive. It is by its nature abrasive. But if you are into that kind of shit, there is a lot more going on here than haha happy stabby.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, like that reading that you just described of this deconstruction of lolly culture, like that is valid. That is a perfectly valid reading of what this show is doing. I think it is almost certainly what they're intending to do. The thing is that lolly culture is so repugnant on its face, I don't think you need to deconstruct it to show how repugnant it is. So this is just spending more time fucking the dead sloth. The sloth's already dead, you're not gonna fuck it any deader. Kill, knife, don't want.
I would argue about the deconstruction of it and the satirization of it, or at least the exploration of the topic. I think you can totally do that in a way that I think even you might find interesting. But I could see why you don't like this, because it's taking a more schlocky, more shock. Like, this is supposed to shock you. It's supposed to. It's provocative. That's what this is. This is wholly
It's
provocative. Pulp, yes. And in that regard, it's kind of morally repugnant. Like, I can actually see why people would say that this is sort of reprehensible. And you know what? I get that. And I don't necessarily know if they're wrong. Maybe this is like kind of a morally repugnant show. Maybe its vileness is more
Outweighs the benefits you could have looking at it critically.
yeah. But as somebody who already has his own staunch opinions on how he feels about all this stuff, as somebody who's I'm already secure enough with my sexuality and my personality, watching this stuff is like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? Why? And look, I'm gonna I don't know what to hold up, because I don't love this show, even though I find it vastly interesting. And there are other things that I could be watching. I've already gotten my taste of this. So you know what? Yeah, I'm going to hold up this knife. But if I have to watch another episode and see how, like, gross and deep this dark,
Right.
dank rabbit hole with a carcass at the bottom goes, then, man, I'm not gonna complain all too much.
You know this is coming. You know this is happening. I love horror. I think this is one of the most interesting horror shows in a while, and I think it has a lot more to it. I think it wears what it is on its sleeve, and you can either see that and take that and check out, or if you're willing to dig through it and stay with it for a bit, I think there's actually a lot more going on here than it likes to let on, and I'm just fascinated every time I watch this show. I streamed it. You know what I do? I'm sitting there like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? No way. Oh, is he going with her? Oh my God, we're gonna have child rape next episode. Okay, no, we're not. Fine.
I will say this. My line is if that girl gets touched.
Oh, I know. Yeah, if anything happens to her,
if anything happens to that girl, I will
certainly.
shut this shit down and be like,
yeah.
no, we're not watching this
Yeah,
anymore.
because you want to protect her. You would never. You want to protect her.
No, you want to protect 2Cs.
Yep. You would never attack.
Yeah.
never attack.
Exactly.
But I will attack Revue Starlight. In episode
you?
3, Banana Girl decides to work behind the scenes on the upcoming play. Starhead ties Crownhead up in a closet, which seems like it should be a bigger deal than they make of it. There's some love triangle shit that I can't keep track of because I can't tell the characters apart. Crownhead gets out somehow, and there's a big dumb magical girl fight. Crownhead loses. Is the show over yet? I can't tell what's happening. These girls are interchangeable.
Man,
There's a giraffe. That's the
There
thing.
is a giraffe. Why do you say it like it's just some completely negligible thing? There is a giraffe, and he's amazing.
Like, here's the thing.
He doesn't
I'm
Wakari
sure,
Moss, man.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. You've never Wakari Mossed.
I am sure that these characters actually have defining features. Their character designs are certainly unique for one another. There is no same face going on. They follow that rule.
Actually, I had some trouble following which character was which a little bit in this one.
Okay.
No, totally.
When we got into the bath scene, I'm like, wait, who?
Yeah,
wait,
who's
which bitch is that?
Who's purple? Because you don't have your hair up.
Yeah,
Who
no,
are you?
yeah, and in the bath scene, I'm like, wait, that's Sleepy Girl.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that being Sleepy Girl's actual personality was like, oh,
Yeah, that's
shit,
cool.
you're actually kind of a bad person. That's neat.
Yeah, I like that. No, this show is surreal, and I like that. At least in the back halves, and the front. I think what will make it for you is how much you like the front half of the show, because they're so different. They really are. They feel like two different shows to me, but there's a lot going on that I feel is interesting enough to warrant going through to the end, because hot damn, they're so interesting.
So me and my pregame buddy, he doesn't like it. He actually,
Yeah.
he is basically in the same boat as you are, if not actually more vehement about it. We had a very long conversation about it last night. And when it comes to Revue Starlight, this is a show that I appreciate everything that it's doing, because its visual storytelling is remarkable for
It
me.
is.
And in the regard of it only ever gives you just enough to make you want more from them, but doesn't, like, you know that scene where, and I wish I could remember the names a little bit better. That is a problem when you have all these Japanese
yeah.
girls with these, like, so many of them with these different names. It's hard for me to remember Karen's name, the main characters. So when the blonde girl and the redheaded girl, you know, the blonde girl is cleaning up, and she's obviously not. Or no, I think she's practicing.
No, they're they're practicing, and then she
falls
joins in.
down. And then the other girl comes in to clean the floors, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you know, I got to clean these floors." So
Yeah.
and then the blonde girl grabs her, and they start dancing after this
Yeah.
conversation, because there's that, she's talking about the fact that, like, oh, you were a child star, so you come naturally to this. So blonde girl just grabs her and is like, nope, I'm one of you now.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, because in just a couple of scenes over the last couple of episodes, it has told this story about her that you have to pick up by watching the way she interacts with Maya Tendo, the girl who caught and fights in this episode.
Yeah,
The fact that at one point, this girl was the star of the last Starlight. But in this one, she's beaten
Yeah, no,
by Maya Tendo. She has been knocked down a peg. This child star who joined this group has, like, found herself at a loss, and now she's looking for friends.
Which I love as a character. That's such a rare thing of, like, the washed up prodigy. That's so cool.
And the neat thing is that it's telling you these things with small visual cues, and not
Very subtle.
and not spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
But with everything that's going on, so you have that story. Then you go over to, oh God, I always forget the other girl's name. The one that Kaden lives with that's not Hikari.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Not Hikari, but the other girl. I
Yeah,
know
the
who you're
one
talking
that's
about.
totally in love with Kaden.
Yes.
So she ends up going looking for Kaden after she finds out, like, she can't find her because she's locked in a fucking shed. And so she goes in on the bath and she's like, hey, stop worrying. Come take a bath with me. And she's like, fine, whatever. So they sit down and they have the bath. And what does Sleepy Girl do? She starts being like, look at all this time and energy that you're spending. Look at all, but maybe you don't need to bother. Maybe you, what is she into? What is she looking at?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not the person. And it's kind of crazy because, Kaden's not been paying any attention to her.
Yeah.
Like, Kaden's more obsessed with Hikari. Meanwhile, Hikari's got her locked up in the fucking shed because she's like, you can't be a part of this.
Oh, I know.
Which is fascinating to me.
Because I think this character is just Homura.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that's all she is. I'm waiting for our episode 11. We find out she's time traveled and has done Starlight for 10,000 years.
No, but that's the thing. There's a lot of narrative shorthand here that I'm getting all of.
Oh, totally.
And that's why, when she locks her away, I'm like, she's protecting her from
because he doesn't want her, because this audition probably has something insidious. We don't know what the giraffe's up to. She was like, I don't want you involved in this.
Yeah. And then when she goes out there and she fights Maya Tendo, by the way, this fight says so many things.
Oh, I know.
As they're running up the steps.
And
Maya
she's
Tendo's
always above.
Always above. And what happens with those stairs? They keep changing and moving because she keeps cutting off her relationships with everybody else.
Yeah.
She doesn't make relationships. She doesn't have bonds.
No, I love what they're doing with all these. Like I mentioned the mannequins last episode forging the identity of like the glasses bow girl, whatever. But here we see Maya she's obsessed with getting to the top. So everything she fights with is a staircase.
Yep.
Everyone here is stairs. I will use you, fight you, and get to the top. And that's so fucking cool.
It's so good.
Yeah, I love that.
God, like, I know that you're not getting into this, and I know that you look at this and think that this is all just a bunch of stuff thrown together. But God help me, I'm so happy
This is like listening to two friends talk about a show that you haven't seen, except I've seen the show.
I think
it's given me, like, I believe you that all of this subtext is there and all this nuance, but it's got to give me something to make me give a shit to put in that amount of effort to pick up on the nuance, and it's just not.
What it's given me is the fact that I can. Oh my God, we didn't even talk about my favorite character this episode, Manana. Or not Banana, Banana.
Yeah,
Banana Head.
Yeah, Banana.
I loved all of her stuff going on because, hey, here's a character that doesn't want to be up at the forefront and just wants to work behind the scenes to be, hey, I want to cast and I want to work on the script. Hey, guess what I did for a lot of DBZA? I was not like very up at the front with that. I was not the star for a lot of it, but I loved what I did because I got to make the show.
Yeah.
So fucking to see her and to see the other characters start bribing her and everyone's supporting her with that sly grin and I'm like, yes.
No, I like that because there needs to be a character like that because I feel like I was worried about that with everyone like, oh, I'm gonna be the star, fuck everyone else. Like that seems like a really combative because I assume they want us to like all these girls, but so far they're like, only one of them's gonna be the best. Fuck all the rest.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see her have like this. She has a different aspiration, a different passion, and everyone's like, no, that's cool.
And we still got Junjun. Junjun is so like I'm sad that Junjun is not more up at the forefront because she was my favorite character for the little while that she was up in the spotlight. But again, we're getting to see all these great little character moments that are encapsulated by like visual storytelling.
Yeah, the visuals really do a lot of the legwork.
Yeah, and oh my God, the songs.
God, man.
The one thing I'm angry about is that there's no translation.
I know. I want to know what they're saying because I could hear he totes like a whole bunch. So she's concerned about alone, me, solely. I am the one who's at the top. It's just going to be me by myself.
It's a beautiful, passionate show that does most of its storytelling through visual shorthand, and
It's a theater piece. It really is.
Yeah, it is a theater piece. That is I feel like I'm watching a play here, and it's so good.
Which is because it's what it's based on. It's Revue Starlight was, funnily enough, started by Bushiroad, who started like Card Fight Vanguard and a bunch of other shit. They started this as a musical, and then they turned it into now they're funding the anime version.
Wow.
Yeah. So this actually has like been a stage play before, which is really cool.
Weird. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, somebody was bitching at me on Twitter about this show, and I was like, I'm not going to bother fighting about it here because I'll fight about it. I'll fight about it on this show. I'm going to fight about this because I love this show, and I hope the case that I have made at least comes off as as coherent, and because I love it.
No, there's a lot going on, and this is a show that requires you to put in more than I think it is. It is hard to digest a lot of what's happening. It is not an easy garbage palette like Killing Bites or Happy Sugar Life and other shit where you're just like, yeah, whatever, it's crazy.
And it's not as it's not as frontal and
Yeah,
linear
exactly.
and as digestible as say like Banana Fish or like even Ancient Magus Bride.
Yeah, no, this is not a very coherent narrative with a really interesting storytelling, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I would like to get to that point where I can appreciate it on the level that you guys do, but for a show to capture me that way, it's got to work on a base level first, and this is failing miserably at a base level.
I suppose. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I like and legitimately, because if this show continues to go at the pace and the style that it is right now, unless it does something egregious, I can't imagine knifing this right now.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
I'm this close to being like knowing what I'm marrying at this point. Jeez.
Well, it's such a litter to pick from.
Man.
Oh, I love you, Ben.
Let's talk about Banana Fish.
Let's talk about Banana Fish.
In episode 3, in prison, Ash meets Max, his older brother's war buddy. The Shawshank Redemption happens. Ash smuggles a message to AG to find Dr. Meredith and hide the sample of the banana fish drug somewhere safe, but when AG gets there, he is ambushed by Arthur. And then in episode 4, Shorter saves AG and Dr. Meredith from Arthur and the rest of Papadino's thugs, but Griffin, Ash's older brother, gets shot in the confusion and dies. The Shawshank Redemption keeps happening.
Why does everyone want to rape Ash so badly?
He's a hot dude.
Yeah, have you seen him?
Have you seen what
what?
he's
You know
wearing?
what? Fair retort. Fair retort, Ben. Oh, okay. Like, I want to just get this out of the way. Using rape as a storytelling device to imply danger in an environment, where men are desperate and prominent, is a storytelling trope often used in Fujoshi stuff.
Oh, totally.
Like, and as this is Fujoshi. This is a whole. This whole story is written by a woman with gay undertones. So there's a lot of
Under, you
overtones.
say.
yeah.
I think we can just say tones.
Yeah,
Tones
yeah.
are everywhere.
Yeah, there are multiple different tones. There are undertones. There are overtones. And so you see, you get a lot of that here, and this is going to make some people very uncomfortable. Like, the use of this as a narrative device is very... It can be seen as kind of flippant toward the act, and I kind of agree. It is a little uncomfortable for me, too, to see this not only used so commonly, but kind of to no effect to Ash. He kind of just shrugs it off when it actually happens to him. Like, there's... in the third episode of the show, our main character is beaten and raped by a bunch of prison members, like prisoners. I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
And that's kind of dark. That's really just kind of brash to throw out there and have happen.
Yeah, at least with no lasting character consequences, with just all according to Cake.
Yeah. And it turns out that he went through all of it, which, is supposed to show you that Ash is emotionally able to handle these harsh, bad situations, all to the purpose of getting what he wants. Because he even says, like, oh, yeah, no, I let them put me in the infirmary because that's where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
he's got a whole plan, which I glossed over, but he wants to get beaten up so that he can get put into the infirmary so that he can steal a little painkiller capsule so that he can empty it out and smuggle a note in there for later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little uncomfortable to use sexual assault as kind of dressing for this character, because it's like, hey, that shit fucks you up. That's not something that you kind of just write off so easily from a narrative standpoint.
Especially, one would assume, if one is canonically a victim of childhood sexual assault, as he is, that I don't think that, like, like anesthetizes you to it in the future. I think if anything, this should be opening up old wounds, not like, oh yeah, that's what's been happening to me since I was 11, so I don't feel it in the butt anymore.
Well, it seems like he has some sociopathic tendencies already. Like he has some level of distance with reality.
Yeah.
Like he is watching stuff and manipulating rather than partaking in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I don't see it as any more egregious than seeing the 8-year-old get shot and killed. So I don't know. I feel like this show has already played its hand with, we are willing to do this, so we're gonna do whatever.
But I wanted to address that.
No, totally. I think it is valid.
Yeah, because we've yet to encounter a show where this was even close to this prominent of a thing.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to say that for people who are uncomfortable with this subject, I don't think it's invalid for you to say, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Like if this makes you physically uncomfortable or mentally uncomfortable, if you can't do this, then
The show is not giving us any indication that, well, we got past that and it's not
Yeah,
going to
now-
come up again.
Yeah.
This is what this show is. If that's not something that you're up for, then get out now and nobody should blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this show continues to, in terms of its visuals and its music and everything else, it's just a very neat show.
Its music is incredible.
Yeah, its music's
like,
pretty good.
God, every time some music comes in, I'm like, did I hear that before? Is that new? That's amazing. They're doing these crazy ambient things. They have some really cool beats going on with a lot of stuff. Very modern, which I'm okay with them doing the modern setting just so they can have this soundtrack. I would have liked more 80s like period shit, but hot damn, the soundtrack's really freaking good.
Yeah, and it's a lot of inner city stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I also love the character of Max. Fantastic character.
Oh, he's great.
Also voiced by one of my favorite seiyuu. He's the guy who voices Sanji.
Mm-hmm.
Also Joey in the Japanese dub of Friends. But so yeah, he just having him here and having him be this guy trying to protect Ash and constantly failing is pretty good. Although I love their fight where
Yeah.
finally he's like, I will kill you. Okay, you know what? Fucking try it.
Yeah.
And then, Ash gets that punching on him, and Max is like, I was in the Navy, motherfucker. I can't hurt you.
I have over 100 confirmed kills. Yeah.
Yeah, but that, and I like that, and I like the development between them, and I actually teared up at that last scene in episode 4.
It was really good.
Where Ash is talking to him about the fact that, like, I'm sorry, I needed somebody to be angry at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know what that feels like. I know what it's like to need a villain, to need somebody to project your anger on because there's nobody else. So it's a good scene. There are other good scenes, but I will say that the visual through line or the narrative through line here is not hooking me.
Yeah, the greater like conspiracy drug trafficking thing. Yeah, I can't say that
Oh, you guys aren't into that?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fine, but it's a little obtuse, a little convoluted. I'm interested enough in these characters
Yeah.
that I want to follow them,
Yeah.
but I'm not sparing a whole lot of brain cycles to follow the intricacies of how they get where they're getting with it.
And that's exactly where I am. Thank you for being able to eloquently put that to words because I was like, what is it about this story that's not grabbing me? And yeah, it's just the fact that all the stuff about the drugs, all about the stuff with the mafia, I mean, that's sort of interesting on a very basic level, but there's nothing that stands out about it that, like, oh, there's this drug that's similar to LSD, but it's actually causing aggression in people. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat, but I've seen this story a million times. So,
I think it's cool. I like it as a framework for, especially tying everything back to the first thing we ever see in episode 1. With now we get Max in prison, which was his war buddy, and
By the
like
way-
seeing all that shit. I thought that was really cool.
by the way, do you think that was in Vietnam in the original manga?
Yeah. When did the manga start?
In 85.
85. I could see that.
Yeah, because they're talking about Iraq.
Yeah, because they're talking about that and LSD. So I'm thinking, yeah, that'd probably be Vietnam. But I think this is actually done fine transferring it to modern day.
Oh yeah, no, that
But everything that's going on with the drug and like the brother, he knows something. Banana Fish is a dude. It's the scientist man. And
Which, kind of
That's
very
cool.
casually dropped. Like, oh, okay, guess that's Banana Fish. He's just this dude.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a little bit like, oh, I feel like I could have missed that.
yeah.
Also, Ash's brother dies, which is like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to happen this soon.
Yeah,
but-
By the way, don't tell him. I don't know why I'm telling you. That seems like a bad idea. Oh well, just don't tell him.
that was a bad idea. There was, of course, then again, imagine what would have happened if Ash found out about it after he'd gotten it out. There would have been a warpath so violent and bloody that nobody would have been able to prepare for. Like, Jesus Christ.
He'd probably stab a few more penises.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he stabs a penis in this.
I was so concerned. Is it the balls or the shaft?
I'm going to assume that it was...
Was it the whole thing in one?
Oh,
Did we
yeah.
get a full sausage and meatballs?
We got it, meatballs. Yeah, just twirl it up.
Well, this show's
Yeah.
good.
I'm sure.
I think out of everything on this list, this one is the most consistent around everything for me. The story, the soundtrack, the animation, the colors, the music, everything is really good.
This is one of the shows that I'm not the most excited to watch every week, but it is always the one which I know that by the end of it, I'm not going to be dissatisfied. It's just, I hope that the actual main story gets a little bit more interesting for me, because as it is right now, like Ben said, the characters have me. The story doesn't.
Well, that's a trifecta for good old Banana Fish. Let's see what we thought of Planet With.
Quiz.
In episode 3, Alexander Luthor kicks Kuroi Boy's ass until Cat Sensei shows up and saves him. Somehow. Absolutely nothing happens for like 15 minutes. Then another alien spaceship attacks. And then in episode 4, Gravity Girl attacks Kuroi Boy to avenge Small Pink Girl, but loses control of her powers and becomes a Dargon. Kuroi Boy teams up with the Sentai people to stop the Dargon, but the only thing that can stop a Dargon is the power of love or some shit.
Power of love.
Pantsuit-chan quits the Sentai team.
Does it hurt seeing everything in only black and white?
So remember how I said that a story has to be coherent and interesting on a base level before I can go up the tree and start looking for subtext and more interesting themes? Second verse, same as the first, you guys. It's so incoherent. Nothing makes any goddamn sense, so I don't care.
Everything, actually...
Everything makes so much sense. This makes so much more sense than Fooly Cooly ever did.
Yeah, as of episode 4, I can now
Oh,
tell you...
wow.
Absolutely.
Then Fooly Cooly, you say.
Yeah.
Clear that high bar, please.
No, because I think that's an honest comparison. Like this is taking a lot of what Fooly Cooly did, but is giving it a lot more meat to its visual and like I guess visual metaphors it's using.
Can we just talk about Sensei and the
Yeah,
Emperor,
they're talking
Emperor-
about the pacifist
Your Excellence,
and
Your Excellence.
Yeah, Our Excellency.
Yeah, fucking like
Remember his full name.
they just call him
Kaka is just Your Excellency in Japanese.
That's all they call him.
No, Sensei gave him a name. He said Lord of
Oh
Feeling
yeah,
something.
they have those stupid
yeah,
long
they have the
names,
stupid ass
and
names.
I love that. I love the
Yeah.
fact that they've got these stupidly long names.
And that Kuroi is apparently from Sirius, another planet.
Yes, he is not human.
Yeah, he's non-human.
And the moment I heard that, and then we saw the dragon, I'm like, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like, I now know what, like, in these 4 episodes, I now know the backstory, and I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Because on his planet, like, those people had developed so far with, like, the same kind of stuff in those, in the little jars.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had developed their power so far that they had become these dragons that destroyed their own world.
Yeah, like essentially a step up from nuclear, quantum, whatever energy level. Our next one is this magic dragon power.
Yeah, this is the kind of shit that we saw in Gurren Lagann with.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. This is the analogous to spiral energy, totally.
Yeah. And so, yeah, his planet was destroyed by this kind of energy.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking is the guy who's responsible for it is dude who's looking for world domination.
Oh,
I think,
absolutely.
yeah, he's the one who's been responsible for that. And when he came to this planet, he was looking to subjugate it. He was looking to create a piece of his own by dominating the planet. And
Yeah.
the aliens they've been fighting are just different aliens from the same race of a different faction.
Yep.
And it's neat because you have these different factions from this one race battling on Earth for its supremacy, and that's
I like that because in any other show, this is again what I had an inkling of on episode 2, where the aliens told the one dude it's okay to be weak. Again, aliens, we see the psychic thing show up with in Haru, I think her name, Haru's brain, where she says that nobody's afraid of you. Like, you don't have to be this big pompous person. You don't have to be so violent that you command respect. You can love people. And it's taking the step down from being the hot-blooded mecha pilot who says, fuck all, I'm going to blow up everything, and because I'm strong enough and I can fucking do it and I believe in myself. Like this is the anti-Gurren Lagann.
yeah, and it's interesting because we see the moments where these characters either battle through these illusions and win. And that's when like it flashes on screen, like the lesson they learned. But then we find out that if they don't, they go into this sleep. They sleep peacefully in their escapism.
Yeah.
And this was the anime, like tilting its head and saying, "Hey, by the way, this guy who's all into these,
Who's into all the idol
girl-
managers, big booby stepsister.
Yeah, guess what? He decided to give in to his escapism, and now he's a non-contributing member of society. He's asleep.
Yeah. He's not doing anything.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff here like that on its surface would not be that interesting, but the way it's playing it out is subversive, and I dig on that.
I love this.
There's-
I can't get enough of this fucking show.
There's one problem that I have with the show. One overwhelming problem. This was storyboarded with 2D animation in mind for its fight scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Its 3D animation is subpar.
It's not amazing, no.
Yeah, you want a series with good 3D? Check out oh shit, I'm actually been. Yeah, but it's bad.
It's a great 10-episode series.
Yeah, it's a great. Yeah. The Kado, the right answer is a great 10-episode series. You're right. There's actually another one that just came out recently. It's 3D. It was really beautiful. I can't remember the name of it, and I feel bad for.
Regardless,
right now,
when the dragon's in 2D,
Yeah,
dragon looks pretty good.
Dragon looked pretty good, but that's the problem is that we have all these we do have all these mecha fight scenes that if I had to be completely honest with you, I almost want to skip because they're boring because they're not.
Nah.
I mean, sometimes when they have these really cool like shots where it's like, oh, he made it in and he hits her, I'm like, okay, that's cool, but the actual battles don't look visually appealing.
What I think carries them for me is the sound design, because the sound design for this show is so fucking crazy.
So's the fucking soundtrack.
Yeah, it's so like I swear they sampled their own sound effects for this, because I've never heard these before.
Yeah.
When they have like when he like punches the dragon, like my couch was shaking from the sound effect from it. It's so cool.
Guess who did the sound design for this?
Who?
The same people who did the sound design for, wait for it, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
One of the best sound designers.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so good.
see, I talk about sound design. I'm actually completely an amateur at it, but I know what good
But
sound
yeah, you
design
can tell.
sounds like. And this,
Yeah.
yeah.
They know how to have a nice meaty impact, and you can tell like, oh, that's him hitting a trash can. But I'm like, oh, but it sounds so good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, this show is doing a lot to really sell it, and I think just for me as a fan of, I've been watching anime my entire life. I've been seeing all this crazy mecha shit ever since I could watch shit and understand it. Getting something that's saying it's okay to not be the super hot-blooded military robot man is really interesting to me.
Well, and more importantly, yeah, like I like the fact that you learn about these characters as they fight.
Yeah.
Like Hunter x Hunter did that all the time. Hunter x Hunter just throws characters at you, and you don't know anything about them until they've started a fight.
Yeah.
And so you learn about them through the fight, and then this has this added benefit of like these psychological attacks.
I love them.
Which don't tell you the past of the character. They tell you their wants, their interests. I will say this though. I actually did not like how they handled Big Scary Girl.
Harus?
Yeah. Because what they did a poor job at communicating to you that she is quote unquote big, scary, and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, because I'm like, you're just cute little potato face.
Yeah.
Like you're great.
I didn't buy that. And
Yeah.
you know what? If that's one shortcoming for me. The other one is the CGI battles. I'm not a huge fan of them. But those are my downsides. Those are the ones where I'm like, okay, that's not great. Also, oh my God, please do not go back to the club.
Oh, I love the club. The club's my jam.
Okay, I'm glad you liked the club. I thought I only liked the club because we got to meet that one dude. We got to meet him and watch him just be the lamest.
Yeah, be the
dude.
worst.
I loved the fact that everyone's like, he's so lame. I love it.
He's the worst at everything.
Yeah, he's bad at everything.
My I guess where I got excited was because that's immediately relative to me. Because like, what kind are you? Are you the UFO type? Do you like aliens? Because like I'm all about the crazy occult shit, and like there's just certain branches of it that I find more interesting than the other. And yeah, people do that. Like, are you into magic? Oh, fuck off! You're not into real shit like aliens.
I
Cool.
won't lie to you. Maybe this is a little bit of I'm so tired of school clubs and anime. I've
can see
gotten
that.
to that point where I'm like I'm oversaturated with this school culture. And the more interesting thing about this show is all of its world building that it's been doing and its story building.
And yeah, I feel that the club did that for that character so well to me that I think it was good because we learned he already graduated and he dresses up as a student because he never got out of being in high school.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right.
And that's why I like it because that reflects directly on his illusion and he can't contribute because he never grew up.
Yeah. You know what? That actually makes that better for me.
Like,
You're
yeah,
right.
I saw that immediately. They're like, "Oh, he already graduated." I'm like, "Why the fuck is he in the club then?"
Yeah.
And he dresses up in the school uniform despite being out of high school. That's so cool to me. It's sad because that's like it's saying a lot about what's real there. But yeah, this is fucking awesome. I
Yeah.
love this show.
This mangaka. Okay, so this is not based off a manga. But a mangaka wrote this, and apparently the
really?
manga that he's
Okay.
written before is acclaimed.
What one is it?
I don't know.
I'll have to look it up.
He's written a bunch more before this, and I know that a couple of people said that they're watching this very specifically because they are huge fans of his manga. They've
I'm
even-
going to see what it is then.
Yeah, they've even gone on to say that it's some of the best manga they've ever read.
Oh, I'm curious.
Yeah, so I can see his writing shining through here in a lot of
Yeah,
places.
there's some really cool shit.
I do think that it's suffering a little bit under the weight of its own art and of it being animated.
What is it?
It's Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Have you guys never heard of that?
No.
It's awesome.
I might have heard
I'm
that.
Of
fairly
course,
sure-
Tyler has heard of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
I'm fairly sure that the biscuit hammer is what Fred Durst calls his penis.
Ooh.
Ooh,
that plays
yeah.
into the plot. No.
I'd like to point out that roughly 20 minutes ago now, I said, I can't meet you guys on this thematic level until it tells a coherent story. And you said, no, Ben, you're wrong. It all makes sense. Here's what it means. Nope, you're back on that thematic level. I'm still down here saying, why does the cat put them in his mouth?
It doesn't
and
matter.
why don't they?
I
What-
tell you,
what-
because that's his ship. They even say that's the ship that we came here on.
FMK's canceled.
Damn. I didn't think it'd go out like that. I thought we'd have like at least round out the season, but
Yeah, I know, right?
well, it was fun.
We learned a lot here today, folks.
I think we did.
Yeah,
Well,
we learned that cats have spaceships that are actually modeled after the fake bodies that they use on
the
Earth.
fake bodies that they use that are as vessels, and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all makes sense if you pull out. You know what makes sense the most, Scott?
Cat doping?
No,
What?
a wheel. A wheel
We're
of
not
justice.
done yet. We're not done. We've got other shows.
No, we don't. We're canceled. But I want to have a wheel though.
We're canceled, but before we are, let's talk about Cells at Work.
Okay.
And then we'll get on that
So
wheel.
Ben, is that a knife?
That's a knife, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, for Planet With. It's a symbolic knife that means nothing in real world terms. That knife doesn't tell a coherent story, but it means something to me.
Yep.
Thematically.
That's right.
In Cells at Work, Episode 3, naive T-cell won't fight an influenza infection until a friendly dendritic cell activates him and turns him into an effector T-cell. The body's systems fight off the infection, but a survivor mutates into influenza type A, and the battle is back on. And then in episode 4, I don't know, food poisoning happens, I guess?
Also, he didn't mutate into it. B can't mutate into A. It's just A shows up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This show continues to be itself. It's very cute. I don't know what to say about it because it's very formula.
It's formulaic as fuck. This show has yet to surprise me much going on here forward, but what it does do is that it introduces colorful and neat characters. I love the macrophage. Oh my god. When she shows up, I'm like, what's this bitch's, what is she carrying? Oh my god!
I really enjoyed the whole scene with the dendritic cell and the naive T cell.
I know, right?
Because they see you, they see themselves in you. You gotta live up for them. You can do it.
Yes, and the fact that this is done by David Productions, so when he turns into the fucking JoJo character, I'm
So
like,
good.
How good is this? I also kind of liked Pink Girl.
Yeah, with the pigtails.
Yeah,
I feel like we have about 3 pink girls this season, but I know the one you mean.
Yeah, I want to talk about Miss Parasite Killer real quick because this is where in terms of the world they drop the ball very hard. So her entire purpose is that she's another white blood cell, but she's weaker than normal white blood cells. But what's her point? So throughout the entire episode, you can see this discomfort in her because she doesn't seem like she knows what her point is. And then finally, when a parasite attacks, that's when she finds out what her job is. What? How did she not know that she was supposed to fight parasites from the very beginning? All these characters know what their jobs are. It's not like they weren't set up for this. So, like, the moment this parasite intrudes...
Doesn't it suck when a whole show is based on an elaborate metaphor, but it doesn't work because the metaphor breaks down at a base level? Doesn't that really kill a show for you? It does for me.
I think this is the coolest. I think Cells at Work is the coolest thing to come from Buddhism since Alan Watts. Like, this is so... So this is the most Buddhist show I've ever seen. Because it's all about the scale. There's a world inside worlds, inside worlds, inside everything. Everything's a cycle. Everything's going on. Because white cell bleeds red blood, and in his red blood, there is another cell at work. There's a protein at work. There's a cytoplasm at work somewhere.
Huh.
Yeah, there's always something. And you know what? I think all the cells are at work in our... The cells were the journey. At work, the whole...
So it's nothing
place.
but cells all the way down?
Yeah, it's nothing but cells the whole way down. Yeah. I think this is a lot of fun. I really do like the extended metaphor, and is this already showing in Japanese schools? It has to be somewhere. Some teacher somewhere says, "Okay, we're gonna watch the new Cells at Work."
Can we get Cell? Can we? Oh my God!
What?
I kind of want to get an artist to have someone draw Cell in either the white or red blood cell outfit,
okay,
and then have all the Cell Juniors as platelets
Ooh,
running around.
Okay, that's good. Put it on a shirt.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we do with every good idea. You market it.
Yep.
Do you think anybody's cut their arm to see their waifu?
Oh, a lot of really bad jokes that I'm not gonna make right now.
I don't think you need to expect anything more from it than what it is. I'm getting flashbacks to Hakame and Mikochi here, where it is just itself, and that's fine till expiration date. Yep. So I don't know how long it's going to be fine until you're going to be like, okay, cool, we get it. But
you know what's actually surprisingly good in this show? It's music. I don't know if you paid any attention to it, but its music is actually pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I also love its art and animation. Its art.
Its art is really good.
Yeah, it sets up the characters really well. Great expressions.
Yeah, very expressive. It's very dynamic. Especially like I had to rewind it when he cuts himself out of like the food poisoning thing. I was like, holy shit, that looked awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of really, really hot-blooded shonen-y scenes going on in this very unassuming show.
I will say this. I get it. The cells bleed. At some point, I'm getting a little bit like, right, lots of blood.
But
Okay.
it's fun.
I think as far as that goes, they have a lot of fun with let's put a lot of red blood on on pasty white characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think visually that still does enough to justify it as a thing for me.
I also love the virus designs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Totally.
Also, influenza. Like the whole joke about like, all right, you've gotten over influenza B. Oh great, influenza A just showed up. Well, we're fucked.
So that body we watched died, right?
No,
They are now dead.
probably not.
We are in a different body that got food poisoning, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's body was at episode 3 has died.
Ooh, by the way, so one little piece of visual storytelling that goes by pretty quickly if you're not paying attention to it that I love is that you know how they all have food? They have the sandwiches, they have the onigiri, they have the curry. I think that is what that person has eaten today.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
it's spread out to the body.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Little Cells, for only feeding you like 3 Pop-Tarts. But I know you like it because it's what my brain says.
So yeah, I thought that was really neat. I think that's really cute. I like the little stuff that it doesn't tell you. You just kind of have to infer it.
I like how also that they're literally snot rockets.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
you're right.
that's-
Snot
that
rocket.
is fun every
Literal
time.
snot rockets.
damn.
Fun.
I like the fact that the sneezes are launches.
Yeah. So I think the Hakame and Makochi comparison is apt where it is what it is. It ain't going to change. How much appetite for this thing
Yeah.
do you have? I feel myself nearing that point.
Yeah.
I might actually be past that point, except I know I said that I was just going to give out knives willy-nilly and not care, but there is a qualitative difference between this and some of the other shit on this list. So I'll give it that eggplant, but I got to be honest. No slight against the show. If it were strictly my own personal interest, I might have stopped after this.
I'd kind of have to agree with that, but if we're choosing what we're watching for the next couple of weeks, this is wholly enjoyable. But yeah, it has gotten to that point where I'm like, all right, I get what you're doing. I get the idea. But I'm also open to the fact that next week might be really good. Like, I fully think that the show can do some really cool creative stuff. One of its only problems is that there's no stakes.
Yeah.
So you're always kind of at that point of like, there's never going to be a point where anyone's actually going to be in danger. So this whole rigmarole of the jobs that they're doing, like,
Because everybody dies every episode anyway.
Yeah, they do.
It's okay. Pod 6 is jerks.
I think I think it's fun for what it is. I think it's going to keep being what it is. I would like for a more dynamic shift to happen. It'd be fun to have some real like a 2-part episode of like some real bad shit happens. That'd be cool. Seeing them fight off like some disease or something like that might be fun, but I don't think it'll ever go there. I think it's going to be exactly what it is. It's just kind of fluffy. It's there.
Well, guys,
It's canceled.
it's canceled. Everything's canceled, but some things might be canceled sooner than other things. I'm going to go fetch the wheel, and we're going to decide what's extra canceled. And by we, I mean RNGesus, our Lord and Savior.
That's right.
Yep. Be right back. So, yeah, turns out that we still had the shit for Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens and Kokaku on there from like
Oh, wow.
8 fucking months ago. So it took a little elbow grease.
oh yeah,
Oh,
we
fun.
didn't use it last season.
Nope.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Oh man. Okay. Well then.
So yeah, for those of you who haven't seen, we've got a bunch of AODs for Angel of Death. We've got a bunch of moi for Angolmois. We've also got 2 special squares here. If we get the knife, both of them die. If we get the sad 0, then both of them live for another week.
Don't
Please,
do
God.
that to me.
Please be a knife.
Scott, do the honors.
Oh, it's cursed.
Wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. Yes! Oh!
Yes!
Oh!
I can't believe they metagamed the wheel. I can't believe they waited the wheel for 2 more deaths. I'm so mad. Press F if you're mad. Press 1. Leave a private 1 in the comments if you're
Yep.
pissed. Type 1 in the comments if we metagamed. Press F because you're so mad that we got another double kill. Fuck you. I don't want to
Yep.
watch terrible garbage.
Oh my god.
I mean, you're holding up cards as if you do. But
Actually, I'd like to
Oh
point
my
out
God,
that 3
shut up.
things died.
What?
Grand Blue.
Oh yeah.
We
Oh,
never
I
announced
already
that
forgot.
Grand Blue bit it.
Yeah, Grand Blue died. According to the poll, according to you at home, you made your choice, and now you have to live with it. Tune in next week for more of this canceled show. Bye, guys.
What?
Okay.
Oh yeah, we actually did discuss that we should probably mention that today.
Let's
okay,
Let's get
sure.
serious for a second.
Yeah, actually, we're
This-
about to serious the fuck up because
Oh, sorry.
This show actually is canceled.
yeah,
We're gonna finish out the season. We're gonna finish what we started, but I have a lot of fun here. Here specifically, talking about anime with two of my good friends. I have somewhat less fun actually watching all of the anime.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of time out of my schedule each week that I could be spending doing other things.
yeah. As maybe not all of you guys know, Ben is actually the CEO of our company, and as it is right now, everybody's schedule is kind of maxed. And
Yeah.
one of the things that we need to do is start cutting things out. And yeah, when it comes to things that we both enjoy and are profitable, this is one of those things that is not being outweighed by the time we could be spending it in other places.
Yeah.
So
It's a tough thing because the people who like this show, I do read the comments. I'm on the Discord. I check the chat logs. The people who like FMK really like it.
yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
This show is the thing I look forward. This is the only reason I come in on Monday, guys.
Yeah. But at a certain point, there's a certain amount of opportunity cost. What else could we be doing with that time that we would probably enjoy at least as much that might actually become a sustainable business venture as well?
Yeah.
And it's
So we're gonna be trying to think about what about this show do we like? What do we enjoy? What does the audience respond to? And what are
Yeah.
ways that we could bring some of that to other projects in the future that might have broader appeal and might not eat up our entire Sunday every week?
Yeah. Because as it stands, that has been like the hardest part is you're just giving up an entire day. And for people that are doing it for fun, that's not so much. You're enjoying it. But when you have to have everything done at once, it gets pretty taxing.
Yeah, and especially in a format where you can't skip a week
Yeah.
or else you've just doubled your workload for the next week.
Yeah.
Like most of the other stuff that we do, like I love doing D&D as much as I love doing this. If we have to miss a week of D&D, that sucks. We try to avoid it, but it doesn't make my life hell the next week when I'm doubling up on my workload.
Yeah.
So,
it's sort of sad, but we're not going to focus on the sadness. We're going to focus on the fact that moving forward, we will be free to do new projects and other things.
Yep.
And I am so happy for what we've been able to do for the last couple of years, for the last year, really. Like
Yeah.
we're going to have done a whole year worth of FMK. And you know what? That's cool. I'm glad that we got to do this for one whole year. This wasn't something that needed to last forever. I think that's something that some people, including us, get caught up on. Like, this has to go on forever.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we had these 4 seasons
Yep.
worth. And we will finish out until the end of this one. In case you missed that, like, we'll see it through to the end. The bloody end.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll talk about doing like a whole year review, like if we have the time.
Yeah.
Who knows?
This isn't going to be the last you see of like anime related stuff, I imagine.
no.
No, definitely
'Cause
not.
We're at least 2 of us here are still weebs.
And hey, look, like if you want to talk about what we got out of doing this, I saw some shows that I loved dearly that
Yeah.
I never in a million years would I have watched A Place Further Than the Universe.
Oh, totally.
And I've got this letter in my desk, okay, that I still have that a viewer wrote about how much they got out of hearing me talk about losing my brother, talk about how that show spoke to me, and I keep that anytime I wonder why do we do what we do. I think about that letter, and I think, you know what, that guy got something out of this. And I want to find ways to bring that personal connection into everything that we do, to put something of ourselves in everything we do, whether it's watching 20 god-awful anime every week or hopefully something more enjoyable. But it's that personal connection that makes it worth it, and that's not something I ever want to give up.
Yeah. No, I agree. And when you have so many things, sometimes you don't find anything you like this.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh.
Yeah. For me, it will be nice to be able to pick out like 1 or 2 shows that I can watch, because then I do think that with everything that we're watching, there is a little bit of diminishing returns. Like, in fact, I think it might be actively hurting some of the other stuff that we might otherwise enjoy more, because we're being forced to not only to watch it, but as well a billion other things. So
Yeah.
but thank you guys. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thanks for those of you who have watched and have supported everything, and everyone who's here right now who comes sees it live. Well, we changed that up. It's been fun doing it live.
Oh yeah, doing it live was the best change that we made with this. I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, for you guys.
No, what was that? I thought you liked being paid money.
Oh.
Tyler, we're trying to figure out how to keep you around. We love you.
Yeah, actually, that's one of our other concerns. Like,
Hey.
shit.
Yeah, but we've got other projects that we need a talented cameraman for. Don't worry, cameraman Tyler's not going anywhere.
Yeah, we'll give you the unabridged version later.
Hey.
All right, we'll see you next time, guys.
Later, y'all.